thinking, man?
I know what my audience like. I did some independent films with Master P. A lot of those movies did really well.
I'm ambitious, I'm a hustler. I have my own lane.
That's the thing about comedy. You wake up every day, you don't know if you're funny that day.
Hey, welcome to the program, ladies and gentlemen. Good to see y'all. Hey, welcome to the program. You are now tuned in. Let's go live with Lamont King. I'm Lamont King, and as we say right now, let's go. You're live. We are live, ladies and gentlemen. It's a Monday. They gave us another one. You made it. You made it through the weekend. Salute to you. Could have gone another way, but it's the way that it went. So be glad in it. You understand? Something like a podcast. We do it Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 6 p.m. to 7. Lord willing, East Coast time. Shout out to everybody watching right now on the West Coast and worldwide. Yeah, buddy. Trending topics, hilarious commentary, celebrity guests, and interesting people. We got some interesting persons coming up today's show, man. We are broadcasting live, as always, from the newly remodeled Drunken Fruit Studios inside of Tiny Closet Command Center.
I don't care if it is a closet. You still looking mad official.
Yeah. So there's that. Also, visit our friends at Drunken Fruit. Check out what they got, what they running, black owned and operated. Working on shipping, but we got some local DMV specials. So hit me up on the side and let me know what you're thinking about. And I'll make sure we figure out a way to get it to you. You understand me? Also, please visit, where are we at? One of our sponsors, our other sponsor, 2A Apparel, ladies and gentlemen. I got a quick story about 2A Apparel. Let me get them on the screen real quick. 2A Apparel. I was at a place this weekend, and I was wearing this hat. And there was some other people at the place, and they were like, yo, where you get the hat? I was like, well, I know the people that make it. I give you, woo woo wop, woo woo wham. Give me your Instagram, blah, blah, blah. And so, hey, man, they on it. You need to be on it, too. You know what I'm saying? That's our 5-panel camper with the 2A friendly logo that shows you the time. And, of course, there it is. Beautiful logo right there. It's an original, exclusive. You won't find it anywhere else other than this website. Patent pending, trademark pending. You ask yourself, what time is it? It's 2A all day. All right, there's that. What's up to our executive producer, Mr. Clarkson down the hall in Studio G, and our New York bureau chief, John Watson, ladies and gentlemen. So, yeah, funny story on the way to the gun range. I did that backwards. I should have led with that. That'd have been way more funny. How was y'all weekend, y'all? Hey, happy Teacher Appreciation Week. I see that. All right, round of applause for that. Mr. Clarkson says, may all your students turn in their work on time and all the bad kids not log on this week. Yes. Shout out to all our educators on here. I support you. I root for you. You always get the benefit of the doubt for me, but I don't understand why y'all get a week. Why do you get a week? I don't know if you need a week though to be appreciated. You're underappreciated and underpaid, sure, but it'd take me just a day to really say that. You don't need a week. Oh, we were looking for one day. We're looking for one day. We got a week. All right. What y'all talking about? Oh, y'all running away with it, talking in the Peanut Gallery. Shout out for everybody in the Peanut Gallery. No individual shout outs. If you're brand new, I shout you out. But Peanut Gallery all together now. Good to see. Roland Martin, he should be on a break during his show because I know his show runs simultaneously. I don't know who thought of that. But he's going to catch a break and he's going to slide over here and give us a little commentary on something, anything. So we'll be looking forward to that tonight, later. All right. Let's keep moving. Hey, let's get right into it, man, because we got a guest today. So I don't want y'all acting crazy. But last week I put up a post about some commentary that happened on a panel discussion that I was invited to. And it was called Conversations with Police. Very great forward thinking program. Let's see, make sure we got it. Yeah, forward thinking program, real innovative. By an organization, by a young lady out of Florida. She put together, she's been doing it for a minute, and basically trying to bring people together with law enforcement to kind of iron out some things and have an unfiltered discussion and conversation, keeping it real. And I made some posts about some of my takeaways from the conversation. People was like, was that real? Did they really, was that the type of answers they was getting? I was like, yeah, I ain't making it up. And so I was like, well, let me, I was on her Zoom. So I was like, well, let me get her on this show to really talk about it and see if we can further the conversation. And just so you can be aware of the program, so that the next time we have, they have the event, online event, you can participate and maybe we can, and improve, get some things improved and get the dialogue going even further. Cause I know a lot of people from different eras don't really talk to the police like that. And you can tell what era I'm from because I say the police. So, it's a work in progress when it comes to having conversations with police. But it's also work that needs to be done. So let me bring in right now to the show. Please welcome Let's Go Live family, all the way from somewhere in Florida. Put her name on the screen. Kathleen from Conversations with Police. Let's Go Live. How you doing? Can you hear?
I am doing well. Can you hear me?
Yeah. I just brought you up. You was talking before. You probably thought you were on, but you were not.
Oh no.
Okay.
I just said I wasn't talking. I was silent.
Okay. I'm messing with you. I'm just messing with you. Good to see you. How you feeling?
I'm doing well, and just FYI, I am a Chicago native.
Okay.
I am not from Florida.
Okay. Well, my only correspondence with you is on Twitter, and you're always talking about.
I understand.
Yeah. So I didn't even know that. Chicago. What part of Chicago?
I grew up on the west side, but lived on the north side for quite a bit.
Okay, nice. Didn't know that.
And we left Chicago. Yeah, left Chicago and moved down to West Virginia to work in D.C. Stayed there for 8 years, and then we relocated here to Daytona Beach area.
Daytona Beach. All right, good background. All right, let's get right to it. Let's talk about your program. Give us a little backstory on how you started it, why you felt it was a need to do it, how long you've been doing it, and what type of successes you've met from doing it.
Well, I started it August of 2019, so it'll be 2 years.
Okay.
And the reason I started it is part of the reason is because of everything that's going on with these cases. And because I work with K-12 and also college age students, when I find that when I have conversations, especially in K-12, because I work as a substitute teacher, but I have worked in K-12. That's what my degrees are in. My degrees are in higher education. Okay. But currently here, I work as a substitute teacher. So,
today,
with everything that's going on,
it's Teacher Appreciation Week. So happy Teacher Appreciation Week to you as well.
Well, I'm a substitute teacher, so I don't know
if I
qualify, but thank you anyway.
Yeah, you're included.
Yeah, educated.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, I appreciate that. I appreciate that. So I find that when I would be in the classroom when I'm subbing at high school, and I would have a conversation with the students, primarily the African American students. And because in my mind, I'm thinking, well, what can we do to start a dialogue between Black and Hispanic males and police officers? Because I know that there's this distrust. And because I do a lot of work with K-12. So when I would ask the boys in class, hey, how do you feel about the police? Almost every one of them, I'm talking the African American ones, almost every one of them would say, no, I don't trust them. I don't trust them. And I understand it. So I started thinking, well, for me, because I'm also an advocate for youth, I started thinking, well, I understand that they don't trust them, and for very, very good reason. But what can I do to help alleviate some of that angst so that when they're out on the street and for when they start driving, like if I'm talking to freshman or sophomore, I'm thinking at some point they're going to get a license and they're going to start driving. So a part of my advocacy was trying to come up with a way to get them to, although they have the distrust, was to get them to actually have a conversation with the police,
right?
So that they could. I'm hoping to alleviate the angst, so that if they were to interact with them on the street, they won't necessarily have a fear and think that they're just going to take off running or just not want to interact with them at all. So, so I just decided, well, the only way you get to understand or understand a person or get a perspective is to have a conversation.
Right.
So I decided, and granted, I had already met with each. I think I mentioned this to you before. When I moved here, one of the things I did, I sought out to meet every police chief in the surrounding cities here. So I pretty much know every police chief in this county. And they were all very willing to sit down and talk with me. And so the one in particular, one of them that was on the call that you were on, he's actually my co-partner and founder in this initiative.
Okay.
And he also thought it was a great idea because he's from up north too. He's from Pennsylvania. He came down here having to come to Florida. He had to kind of revamp his department because of the issues that they were having down here. So that's how I just decided, hey, well, how about if I just come up with something that will allow these young African American and Hispanic males to sit down and have a conversation. And I don't tell I don't tell them, oh, you shouldn't feel like that. You shouldn't distrust. I never tell them not to because I understand. I have nephews that look like them.
Right.
But my thing is, how do we make changes if we're not willing to sit down and have the conversation? And in doing that, it also allows them to ask any questions that they want. And then, I look at it as a learning tool. We talk about what their rights are, and then it allows for the officer to hear their perspective, and it allows them to hear the officer's perspective. And fortunately, I have quite a few African American officers that are also involved, as you see from the session that you did last week,
right?
With one of the, and I won't say any names. He's a African American captain. He's been on the force for a while, so I have him and a couple of other ones that. They love doing this because not only can they give their perspective as an officer, they can look at it from a perspective as a Black male.
Right.
So that's that's pretty much why I came up with this mission. My mission is to take this nationwide at some point.
Yeah. And
I think Val Demings, she's a representative out of Orlando. She's a former police chief in Orlando, which is not my area. You might have heard of her, Val Demings. Well, yeah. Anyway, she's a former police chief out in Orlando, and she said something maybe just like a year ago. She said, instead of talking about the police, people need to start talking to the police. And granted, she said that after I'd already started my initiative,
right?
But I kind of fall in line with that.
Yeah, and partly yes, and having been through. One of your programs, I do see it differently. I do think it's necessary. I gotta be honest. I was, you talked me into it. I was a little bit apprehensive the first time you asked, because I was like, my fear was, all right, I'm gonna say something. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm gonna go ahead and I ain't gonna be Mr. Nice Guy. I'm a blah blah blah. And you was like, go ahead. You was like, ask him. That's what it's for. So I really appreciated that. Like you said, to your point, in order for us to do the work, we need to have those conversations and not be afraid. But also, and this is just my take, I think police that are involved with these conversations, they got to be honest too. They can't.
Yes,
they can't fluff, because it was, even though that was a good call, it was some fluffing. It was some fluffing going on that call, and I know that as it gets bigger, and I know that people probably get more comfortable with being forthright in those discussions. I feel like the fluff will go away. But anytime, if you got me for 40 minutes, I can say whatever I need to do to survive that 40 minutes. But if you got me in a think tank, and we're in a room for a weekend, and we can't come out until we got solutions, I think it'd be different. You know what I'm saying? So it was,
I agree.
Yeah, it was good though. It was just that, a lot of it, even with policing, we know, because we've seen what we have seen over the past year on video, right? Everything is different everywhere. And so you had individuals that mainly were from Florida, and they kept really kicking it back to me, talking about, it's not like it is up north where you're at. And my perspective is like, yes, the hell it is.
Yes, it is. Right.
It's everywhere for us.
I was agreeing with that too.
Yeah.
It didn't matter. You know what? And let me. Yeah, you're right. The two chiefs, they are from Florida. What you're saying is the law enforcement officers were from Florida. The other guys that were on, they weren't. Yeah, and the other ones were recruits. They were in the academy. But the other two gentlemen, they were from Hampton, but they weren't law enforcement. But yeah, you're right. The ones that you spoke with, yes, they are from Florida, because they're in my in my county, and they're the police chief that I work with.
Right.
But let me just say this. I think this is only the second time I've had a Zoom where I facilitated a session where it was with middle age, not meaning that it wasn't high school.
It was young
college.
adults. Right.
Right. So the other one the first one, I did one last year, or maybe 2 years ago, and this gentleman wanted to pretty much talk about he has an autistic son. So it was pretty much, the conversation pretty much was around how do police deal with people with autism, etc. But so I think I said that to say, even though I know these police chiefs have been involved with conversations involving adults, because I've been invited to other Zoom sessions where I was not the facilitator. I believe, and this is just me, because you were so direct, I think that the one chief was trying to be very careful with what he was saying, because he even asked me after the fact. He said those were very good questions, and he honestly did email me and say it was one of the more challenging discussions, but it was one of the most rewarding, because he appreciated your honesty. But I also think he was trying to be careful, because they have to be careful about what they say, for it not to be misconstrued. And again, he's not from Florida. He's from Pennsylvania, so he knows that from coming down here to Florida, he inherited a police department that needed a lot of changes. So I'm not defending him. I'm just saying, based on what I've seen in his department, I think that's what it was.
Yeah. And now, is that the same one that at the end he was like, I went to University of Maryland, Lamont. I know exactly where you're at.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was him. Right. Because as you can see, and I think mostly when we do these sessions, we're at the middle school. We've, done a one at the high school. Well, we had the high school guys come out one evening for pizza. So it's not like he's not used to these conversations, but I think because you were just definitely more not holding back, but he thought it was rewarding, challenging, but rewarding. And he said, because believe me, they want to have these conversations. And I just think that because they are chiefs, they have to kind of be careful on what he didn't want his words to be taken out of context.
Sure. I wanted you to be honest. Yeah. And I appreciate it at the end when I was like, what does it take to so in the middle, I'm telling everybody else that wasn't there. I said, put this, I want the chiefs to answer this. What does it take for an officer to get fired? And I said, put a push put a push pin in that. And then we get to talking, we get to rapping. 15 minutes later, I came back and he was the first one to answer. And he said, man, I took some notes. I've been sitting here trying my damnedest while you guys were talking. He said, I don't know. And this is the chief. He said, I don't know. He said, I don't have an answer for that.
Because actually, actually, it's funny. It's interesting that I think I do recall that. He said to me that in fact, we met for coffee Thursday morning, he and I, because we have a really good rapport. He's actually my co-partner with this, with what we do with this initiative. Mm-hmm. But he said, I don't know why he didn't answer. He said he was trying to be, he said, I hope I didn't come off defensive. And he said he thought that was a really good question. So that's why, he said, when you ask, what does it take to get an officer fired? I don't know if he felt on the spot, but he told me after the fact, he thought that was a really good question. Yeah, I think that if this were to happen again with someone that's directed you, I don't know. It'd be interesting to see if the answers would be, a little different. Yeah. But I think that I want exactly what you did. I want you to come in and be honest, because they even agree, these police chiefs, they know what I do. Right. They know that they understand that if we're going to have this conversation, it needs to be an honest dialogue. Right. And even to the point of the young brother who the really young guy who went first, and he read that laundry list of questions. He was ready. Justice. I think I met him on Twitter. Was he the one that brought up slavery, slave catchers or something?
Yeah, he brought up everything. Yeah. And I like that, because here's the thing. A lot of times when we are in these spaces and we do get a chance to have these conversations, they're not expecting that energy and they don't understand it. They think it's unwarranted. They think it's unsolicited, and they don't understand the contextual history of Black people's relationship with the police. And so since America, as we've seen last week, is still afraid to talk about racism, it's going to be hard for law enforcement to even go anywhere near that topic, because in their mind, I'm just doing my job. I don't treat you differently. Mm-hmm. And then we're like, yo, you police me differently than you police your neighbor. But they just don't see it. You know what I mean? So I like, and he came, he was going through his notebook. He was like, and what about this and this and this? And so I appreciated that, coming from a young adult, because I'm in a different era, even though you told me later they thought I was a kid too. I appreciated that.
Captain, the African-American one that you said was pretty cool. He said, he looked kind of young. I said, no, that you obviously, you're still young. You're only in your 40s. You were about his age, but he just thought you were 20. I guess he thought you were in your 20s like the other ones that were there. But no, that's another reason that I do this, is because I want them to hear particularly the Black male's perspective. Mm-hmm. They need to hear it. Right. So when you were like, I wouldn't want to lay at your feet, you made me even more wanting you to engage in it, because, and even Captain said that. He said, I saw the chief's email that that was one of the most challenging but yet rewarding conversations. He said, because the questions were hard, but he said, that's exactly what we want. Mm-hmm. And this may have been the first time they heard it from someone quite like how you were saying it. Mm-hmm. But other sessions I've had with the college students 2 years ago, when I had 12 of them and we met for pizza that evening, they were it was at least five young men of the 12. Mm-hmm. And they were very direct with the chief. And that particular chief, he attended that session that evening, and one of the sergeants over here in my area. Yeah. And they told, these two white guys, they said, I don't like the police. I don't trust you guys. So it's not as if they haven't heard it before, but by the end of the discussion, they're shaking hands and saying, hey, you guys are human just like we are. Mm. So, he shouldn't have been too surprised by it. Maybe it was just he was trying to be very careful on how he was answering you. Right. So I think that's what it is. And, and I will say, even some of the Black boys who have participated in this, because I do at least 2 sessions a month at the middle school. One of the Black boys, he wears locks, and he wears his hair in like twists, mm-hmm. Different hairstyle. Yeah, and so he he told the chiefs, it was 2 chiefs at this particular session, and he said to them, we're talking to a 12-year-old. He said, because I wear my hair like this, you guys will target me. So I guess what I'm saying, Lamont, is that even these 7th and 8th, these 6th and 7th graders, because I haven't had a session with 8th graders yet, we're still working on that at this particular school. They are, even as black boys, they are telling these officers, even the one black chief that we now have in one of our counties has hired their first black chief. They're very honest, and they'll say, I feel like you guys police us differently. So it's not like they haven't heard it before. I mean, and I look forward to doing even more sessions so that these conversations can come out.
Right. We got one of our regulars in our chat, in our peanut gallery from the West Coast. He asked a question on screen right now. Are these black are there black law enforcement officers who are in the conversations? And the answer is yes. And specifically, so the guy that you're referring to, the captain, he made a comment that was probably the most, the thing that hit me the hardest the whole time. The question was, we were talking about, we had got into bias and bias training. And because the one young dude was talking about the slave patrols, and that's where police in this country came from. And, it's part of the culture, and retraining is not going to do anything if it's part of the culture. So we get into bias. So then the black captain, he said, that's real. He said, because, it took me some years he said, I've been on the force for years, and we started going through bias training after, like, I guess he meant after Ferguson, like 2016, 2017. And he was like,
right,
I didn't realize that I had started taking on biases against young black men. And I was like, wow, I wasn't expecting that. I wasn't expecting that. And,
right.
and we all would assume that that's true, but to hear him say that and say he was like, he was shocked and blown away going through the training that he had, accumulated biases against young black males that he never had before. And I was like, wow. I was like, yeah. So just imagine, a white officer that's with the shits. And that's, built in for that one. Imagine that one.
Right. Exactly. That was a good takeaway. And, I had someone ask me, and he was in law enforcement, white. He asked me, he said, don't you, if there are quite a few young black males walking past you, don't you get nervous? Because I had a black woman tell me she gets nervous and she crosses to the other side. And my answer to him, and this was my honest response, I said to him, no, I don't get nervous. I don't fear black boys. I'm not going to fear boys who look like my nephews and my brothers. I said, but I tell you who I do get nervous when I see a white male. And I was very honest, because I do. When I see a white male, and this is just me.
Yeah.
I do kind of get nervous because I know what they're capable of. So I just think so everybody doesn't have a bias against black boys. I have just made it up in my mind. I'm not going to go through I don't fear boys who look like my nephews. Am I naive? No, I'm not. But I'm not going to cross the street because I see boys, that one black woman might feel like that. Maybe some do, but I'm sure some don't. So my answer to him was no, I do not. I'm not nervous, but I do find myself nervous when I kind of see a strange looking white male or just a white male, because they're the ones that make me nervous.
Tell that part. All right, is there a destination online that we can, follow up with conversations with police? You got a website, you got a Twitter, or are we still in the beginning stages?
Yeah, yes, we're in the beginning stages, and I do not have a website. I have a mission statement. However, because I didn't think creating a website would, I'm just kind of on Twitter right now. So people can follow me on Twitter, and they can DM me, because I would love to get more black boys, Hispanics, and more so black males involved. And my Twitter account is K Inspire, KINSPIRE, like the word inspire. Just put the K in front of it. K Inspire and the number 2. That's my Twitter handle.
All right, I'll just put that
At
in
K
our chat.
Inspired too.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Because my name. Yeah.
Go ahead. I mean to cut you off.
No, I was just going to say I apologize for that. I was just saying that I'm all about empowering others and just want to do the work I feel I've been called to do. And if that means something as simple as having a conversation between Black and Hispanic males, particularly Black boys and African American males, to sit down and have a conversation with law enforcement officer, that's my assignment. And that's what I've been called to do. And I'm really hoping to get more of these sessions. And only thing in my mission statement, what's in my mission statement, and I'm willing to share that if people just want to follow me on Twitter or DM me, and I'll follow back and we can engage. My only request is what we did last week. Even though you were very direct, I just ask that everybody keeps it respectful.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. We were very respectful.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we don't want to be confrontational. It's not about that, but it is about having an open and honest conversation, and we need to do this.
Yeah, I didn't come in there like, hey, listen, pig, what happens when you know what I'm saying? I didn't get a chance to do that one. You know what I'm saying? Wasn't the time for that.
Yeah. So no, but I really do appreciate you engaging, and I am going to connect with the young brother you just spoke about. I think he was the one who had the list of questions.
Mm-hmm.
He and I are going to maybe do a Zoom call to talk, because he has some kind of he advocates too. He does advocacy work over in Virginia.
Okay.
So we're going to connect on a Zoom call, him and I, to discuss what he's doing, because his buddy told me that he does a lot of work with marching, etc. So, these are brothers that are really out there doing the work. So I'm going to talk with him to kind of see, maybe at some point he and I could, do something together. But, right now I'm just trying to grow CWP as much as I can. It doesn't even just have to be in my local area. Yes, I do the sessions in my local area, but with Zoom, we can just have these conversations, without even everybody being in the same city.
Right, just do it and knock it out. Yeah, go ahead and get that name trademarked right quick, and let it grow organically, because I'm sure it will.
That's exactly what I'm going to do. It's copyrighted. My mission statement is copyrighted.
There you go.
Yeah, it's definitely copyrighted, but I am going to get the name trademarked too. I'm going to start the process for that. CWP, Conversations with Police. I mean, it's what I do. I don't have a large platform. So, but you don't need a large platform just to do the work. We can all do something if we want changes. And this is what I've decided to create. So just you having me on here to give, breathe life into it a little bit more is very appreciative. I really appreciate it.
There it is. And I appreciate you carving out a little bit of time. I know y'all just got finished traveling, so I let you get your rest on. I appreciate you for stopping by. Kathleen from Conversations with Police.
Thank you so much. Thank you. And don't be a stranger.
All right. We'll do. We'll talk.
Okay, thank you, Lamont. I appreciate it.
All right. There it is. Yeah. But yeah, I was she reached out maybe a month ago, a couple months ago, right? And I was like, all right, I'll do it. I won't be a total prick. She was like, I listen to you on Karen Hunter. I like your hot takes. I do a thing with young boys, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, all right, yeah, I'll do it. What I got to do? It's a Zoom. I can't pay you. I was like, it's hard to, can't really ask for shit, for doing a Zoom. And, but I was like, yeah, be on the panel, blah, blah, blah. And then the police kept shooting. Like they kept shooting. And then the Chauvin trial started. So then it was that energy. So I had to reach out, because I was like, she hit me with the reminder, it's next week. You still on board? And I was like, I was like, just call me real quick. So we get to talking. I was like, I don't know if I had the intestinal fortitude to really, do this without jumping out there and saying some wild shit on the call. I said, so respectfully, I said, man, I have to decline the joint. So she was like, no. That's what I need. This is the time when they need to hear from people like you with the stuff that's going on. It's going to be other people on the call. I just need you to moderate and do you, be you. And I was like, all right. And then like 2 days later, they shot somebody else. I think they might have shot somebody somewhere like the day before the call. So by that time, By the time I get on the joint, I was like, all right, hey gentlemen, you go on the Zoom, it's like 8 or 9 windows right there. That's good evening, gentlemen. Hey, so let's get to it. Now that the pleasantries out of the way, I said, what? Why do y'all police black people differently than you police white? we just went, and then it was a young brother. It was like 3 young dudes on there, and it was like you see the little, everybody familiar with the Zoom, the little blink, a little yellow hand. It went up and everybody in all 3 of their screens. It was like blink. I was like, my man Justice got a question. Man, he was like, she put him on the spotlight, put him on the main part of the screen. Open the notebook. I want to give you a quick history on the slave patrols of the 1800s. And I was like, here we go. I was like, let's get it. I ain't the only one. So it was dope, though. It was dope. It was a black captain, 2 white police chiefs, another patrol dude, and 2 other recruits that were going through the academy. So, the conversation was wide open. And, for what it was worth. But that conversation needs to be had with like, not necessarily small town, but like, Chicago police, LAPD, St. Louis, Minnesota. Like we need to have it where they letting it fly and getting away with it. We need to have retired law enforcement who don't have anything to lose anymore. We need a conversation with the unions and the police defense fund people and all of that. Because you talk about culture change, ain't nothing gonna change till the money change. That's just bottom line. But kudos to her. That's boots on the ground. Whenever you see these shows and be like, well, where we got to, it's local. You got to, no, she doing it 10 at a time. You know what I'm saying? That's that work. That's grassroots, in a real way. So, yeah, I couldn't get that Panther energy. It was it was a friendly call. Since you agreed to be on the call, I couldn't be hey, listen, pig, what happened if I get pulled over and the pig tell me to get out the car? What I'm supposed to say to the pig? Said I couldn't go that. I couldn't go down that road. That would have been exciting on a Zoom. But yeah, so you got a cosign also as well, because there's a couple questions I asked. They couldn't answer. I thought they were normal questions, but I guess they don't get asked that all the time. All right, 765, let's go 1-765-538-7461. Anybody want to talk about, hey, have you had a recent situation? Like, how are you navigating? Like, what's the move now? Has anybody been pulled over recently since, the year that was 2020 and do anything different? That's a good question. Have you been pulled over within the last 6 months? And did you do anything different than what you did before 2020? That's what I want to know. Asking for me. Because I see stuff on, you watch stuff on Instagram all day, every day. And you see people do stuff. You be like, damn, why she do that? I saw one just now where a young girl took off running and she was hightailing it down the street and they still caught her. And the caption had the explanation. It was like she had stolen a phone. And she was talking about she didn't want to go back to jail. She was on probation. I was like, come on, man. And they let her go, apparently, because that's not why she got stopped. She was driving the vehicle. They was like, that's not even why we stopped you. So they let her go. But yeah, the take off running thing, like, I don't know. I get it. I'm not going to be the one to be like, well, if you ain't do nothing, then you shouldn't take off running. I just know that the take off running part is not going to work for me. Cause that burst, that initial burst, ain't what it was. So I don't know if that's gonna work per se. But I just want to know: has anybody been pulled over in the last 6 months, and they do anything different than what you did before? 765, let's go 1. I'd love to hear your story. Okay, some of y'all said when you get pulled over, call your mom on speakerphone. Well, that's tricky too, because Dante Wright was on the phone with his mother. So that don't even exempt you. But anyway, we can move on. Let's see. Yeah, that was really all I really had today. All I really had was for today was that. There's another conversation going on right now. No problem, Kathleen. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the fams. The other thing I seen today, so over the weekend, man, I was reading these public institutions. I don't know if y'all are familiar with this. Public institutions led by many HBCUs, state institutions, mandating the vaccine for incoming students, specifically freshmen. And one I want to call out is the good Bowie State University, because I know there's a couple of y'all on here. Hey man, I got a problem with that. I got issue with that. I don't think that's right. And I seen the argument going on back and forth on Twitter this weekend. Oh wait a minute. Oh, y'all calling? Talking about it was the same for vaccines. You had to get your MMR, your measles, mumps, and whatever, pertussis or rubella, whatever. You had to do the same thing. So this ain't no different. Nah, this is a little different. It's not the same. And I don't think that's fair. Especially, what if you're in adult education or you're a returning student and you don't feel comfortable, you're not where everybody else is with the vaccine yet. But you paid your money. You get denied going on campus and sitting in the classes that are that have to be in person because you ain't take the giant. And it's like many, I saw the list. It was like hundreds of state schools across the country, and a lot of them are HBCUs. Man, off the jump, just you like we mandating, like it was a proud moment. I don't know. I feel some kind of way. 765, let's go one. I don't think that should be a thing. I think it's too soon in the process. You should be able to have the option, since we've seen that virtual learning has existed for the last year. You should be able to have the option, hybrid. It should be on you. And then now, I was talking to my guy who's a professor at NC State yesterday. He say that now they're shifting the tuition rates. You know how before you'd be like, I'm only doing online. This was before COVID, and it was way cheaper. Now they're equaling out the price for the online courses to the same as in person because they lost so much money. They're trying to recoup them costs in tuition. Hey man, it's a lot going on out here. All right, let's go to the phones. Let's go to Haynes, West Coast Haynes. What's good with you?
Let's go. Oh, go ahead and finish your thought, brother.
That was it.
I got a limited minute.
Nah, that was it. You good?
Oh, okay. All right. Hey, I did get pulled over about a month ago. Baby was driving. We in her car. She got the Prius, and turns out that we got pulled over because of registration. She let the registration lapse. It was like since 19. She was supposed to get it. It was a total COVID brain fart.
Oh, okay.
She ain't been out the house. She's a hypochondriac. So we rolling around. We was having. Matter of fact, it was the day I won that money.
Oh, geez.
Last time I won the money.
Yeah.
That Friday we was frolicking around the town, just seeing the neighborhood changes and everything, and we got pulled over. Hispanic officer, he was real cool. I think he came to her side first, then he came to my side. I'm a little bit different, so it wasn't really nothing to be worried about. He was by himself. He wasn't acting funny. He had some questions. As a matter of fact, her license was. He gave a little hard time about her license. She has a commercial license, so something about her other license wasn't turned in. For her to be holding a commercial license. So and then it was in Henderson, which is the town like southeast of Vegas that's got a little reputation. They call it Hendertucky. So there's a little bit of That was a little bit, but then it ended up cool.
Yeah.
I think I might have had a little bit of nervousness at first, because you never know. But other than that, it was a cool little exchange. I've actually never had a real bad exchange with the police. So
really, man,
I haven't.
That's interesting.
And I've had quite a few.
Yeah.
I got a story. And like I said, I'm a little different. But I got pulled over going into Utah. That was my fault. Crossed right over the state line. They call it the port of entry. Caught eye contact with the highway patrol. They proceeded to pull me over. And I was riding dirty, didn't have no insurance, and shouldn't have been in Utah. So I was being cool. I had a little single cab truck. Put the dog in the truck, and they was looking for drugs. But I had to stand down. So they gave me the ticket, speeding ticket, and a fixing ticket. Back then, that was like 06 maybe. They wasn't doing the thing where you just call in and pay your ticket, so I had to drive all the way back up there to Washington County to go to court.
Wow.
So go to court, traffic court. Judge says, hey, what's going on? I just told him, I said, hey man, I was driving in a pack of cars with the flow of traffic 5 miles an hour over the speed limit. They pulled me over. He said, you sure? They usually, most of the time they'll knock you down, do you a favor. I said, nah, man, flow of traffic, pack of cars, 5 miles an hour over the speed limit. He says, okay, let me take a look at this. I usually don't do this. He ended up throwing it out. He threw out the speed. He asked me who pulled me over. I said, the ones with the beehive on the side of the truck. I didn't really know. And he said, okay, I usually don't do this. He ended up throwing out the speeding ticket, and he cut the insurance fine in half. So and I swear, man, so he had me waiting in the back of the court, and I swear when I look back at him and kind of give him the thank you nod, he threw up the black fist to me. Younger.
Oh, well.
White judge, maybe in his 50s. He kind of, I don't remember if it was a while ago, but I swear it was the fist.
It definitely was.
He knew what it was.
Yeah. I mean, you should have.
We all knew what it was.
You should have led with that. You know what I'm saying? Now I get it.
Right.
Wait a minute, but so
okay.
One thing I missed though. You said you made the mistake of going into Utah. You can't go into Utah or something?
Well, I mean, that's, man. Matter of fact, every time I've been in Utah, I've been pulled over.
Oh, so it's automatic.
Maybe three out of the 5 times. Nah, not always at the port of entry. I've come in from the other side. I've been pulled over like 3 out of the 6 times.
Oh.
And so, but check this out. So I'm on my way home after that. I'm celebrating. I thought I was gonna have to pay like $800 for the speeding ticket. $300 for the insurance. I'm celebrating, singing, and I get pulled over again in Arizona. You gotta cross a little piece of Arizona before you get in Nevada, coming out of Utah.
Okay.
And so, and man, so check this out. He had passed me, got in front of me, then swung back behind me and pulled me over. And so I just was free, so I'm not really breaking the law. And I kind of gave him a piece of my mind. Like, man, what you pulled me over? I got stirred with him. Check this out. This dude goes, well, sounds like you're having a bad day. I'm gonna go ahead and give you a warning because I see your windshield's cracked and I thought it was impairing your vision. So he just gave me a warning and let me go. But he could have made it bad. Oh yeah. And I was out there in the middle. I was out there in the middle of nowhere too. Once you cross that, it's the desert. Mm-hmm. In between in Arizona, man. So yeah. So like I said, I've been lucky. I've had the cuffs on me, so I know what that is. But other than that, I'm also I had the cuffs on me for a reason. So say less. So yeah, we get it. Yeah. yeah. Well, I appreciate that. So, hey man, that's my story. Yeah, you lucky you, man. You've caught some nice breaks. Hey, you hear about your boy divorcing his wife? Who? Oh, Bill Gates? Oh, B. Gates? Yeah. We ain't there yet. I gotta do a little more reading. Maybe Wednesday. I gotta do some more reading. All right. Yeah. Sounds good.
All right, be safe.
All right, brother. Yep.
All right, let's go live. Teron, what's good with you? What up with you?
Hey, what's up, Lamont?
Ain't too much. How you feeling?
Ain't nothing. I'm chilling, man. Thanks for taking the call, man.
Mm-hmm.
I got pulled over maybe about 3 months ago, and I never get pulled over. I'm, chilling. And I live in a college town down in South Carolina, right?
Okay.
And so, you got your, city cops, your, what you call it, campus cops, and then you got your, excuse me, you got your sheriff. So I'm rolling. It's early in the morning. Well, not early, but it's about 9 o'clock. And I knew my tags was dead, but my license and my insurance was straight. So, I'm speeding about 13 miles over. And he walked up to the car. He put his mask on. I put my mask on. And he's like, you're just doing 13 miles over. I was like, I didn't, officer. I'm trying to pay, down. I knew I knew they was dead.
Right.
And he was like, she said, where you work? And I say, I work in Charlotte. And he's like, you said, you got to, get the stuff done. And he only gave me a warning. And I was state. So the next week I got my stuff taken care of, but he only gave me a warning. And I've never gotten a warning ever. And I was like, okay, bet. But he was cordial and everything. And I was happy. I said, all right.
My theory is here's my theory on that. I feel like because of the climate, some of them are extra ready because those are the scary ones. And then on the same at the other end of the spectrum, you got some because of the climate are extra forgiving because they like, we get it. You know what I'm saying? Everybody out here ain't no threat, and everybody out here ain't committing crimes. That's my theory. I don't want to test it, but that's my theory though.
Yeah.
It's them scary ones.
I mean, I I believe that to be true. I mean, because it was in the morning. It was probably about 9 o'clock in the morning or something like that. So what am I doing? I'm by myself, but I did ask him though. I did ask. I said my registration is in my glove compartment. You mind if I go in there and get that thing? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So he was like, sure. Yeah. I ain't want no problems. But,
right.
Yeah, that's my story. But I haven't got pulled over in at least 10 years, man.
Man, y'all some lucky dudes out here, man. Hey, good for y'all out here, man.
Yeah.
Jeez. Be safe.
Yeah, like I said, I got my things taken care of, and it was all good. But that's it.
Yeah, I like it. Good stories, man. I like to hear good stories with positive endings, man. Thanks for calling. We needs that. All right, let's go to our New York Bureau Chief, John Watson. Welcome to the program.
What up, fam?
What's good with your fams?
Ain't too much.
You missed the production meeting we had. We had an impromptu production meeting yesterday. You missed it. I sent it.
That pound count was a little high.
Yeah.
I was outside dying.
Yeah.
I went to walk the dog, man. I said, "Oh no, not today."
It was a little rough yesterday. Yeah,
a little rough. It was in the back of my throat.
Yeah.
No
okay. All right.
Yeah. There you go. Thank you. That was the rim shot.
Yeah.
All right. So two things. One, I'll give you my pulled over story that happened a couple years back.
Okay.
And two, I'll lead with the first one though. So I have now, as a tragedy to where we find ourselves today, this ACLU app on my phone. Are you familiar with this?
Yeah, I heard about it. I remember it was like some young cat designed that joint when it first start kicking off. You do that joint and it automatically records, right, and sends it to them. Yeah.
So it automatically records and sends it to the ACLU, and you can also, I believe, pick up to 3 people whom you deem trustworthy, and it automatically sends the video clip to them as well.
Yeah, right.
So, there's that. That's what we are in 2021, that you have to have that on your phone just in case.
Right.
So a couple of years back, man, I'll say the last time I got pulled over and actually got the ticket, right? So I got pulled over. I'm in DC,
and I'm on one of these, lesser used street. I think it's like D Street, Northwest, which is like if you're anywhere familiar, it's kind of in the vicinity of the one of the police HQ downtown DC, and it's a real narrow little street.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm making, so imagine if you will, I'm making a left turn, right, on a 2-lane street, right. So there's actually 2 lanes, but I make a left turn on the wide because you can if you make it safely, because it's the inner lane is going, the inner left lane is going left for sure, and then the wide lane you can do it also because the street opens out like that where you can do it.
Okay.
So the cop immediately pulls me over, right? I'm like, oh, okay, what did I do? Because I'm not, that's a normal move, in my book. He pulls me over and tells me, what you did, you made a left turn in the right lane. I'm like, well, I had the option because I could either go straight or make a left because the other lane was already going left. And he's like, nah. And we almost started to argue, and I said, and it was like that. The narrator in my head went, it was in that moment when Don got yanked out the car.
Right.
I said, you know what? I said, okay. I got my druthers about myself, and I said, all right, okay, well, so I'm just looking at him like, all right, so it's ticket time. Yeah, it's ticket time. He gives me a ticket. I'm like, I was like, ain't no way that was that specific on that road. Like he was trying to say like the whole, how the pavement is painted.
Yeah.
With the left. I'm like, there's no way that was it. No way. That should be too old and too crazy. All right. So sure enough, I go back because the ticket was looking hefty. It was like a $200-something ticket. So I double back, and sure enough, the paint is so faded and gone, you could barely distinguish. You know what I'm saying? The arrow ain't really prominent like that.
Right,
the whole street is kind of choppy. So I'm like, there's no way you can't tell me that I don't have a position here. It wasn't clearly cut. You know what I mean? That was a specific lane. So I said, we're gonna take this to court. So now I get my court date and all that. I'm the student ticket. I get my court date. I go. I'm like, hey, 9 times out of 10, maybe he won't show up. I go into this, and it's not a whole courtroom. It's literally like a classroom.
Yeah.
Oh, he there.
Oh,
and it's about 5-6 people ahead of me. All of them on his docket.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So I don't know what you call the person. I don't know if you call them the magistrate, whatever, because it was not a courtroom setting. It was literally like a little conference room.
Oh, like an adjudicate.
And Lamont, when I tell you, he is knocking them down one by one.
Yeah.
He's like, oh yeah, I remember this. Offender was this and that, and da and so and so and so forth, blah blah blah, and that's why that happened. They was like, oh, pay the man, go see go pay the fine.
Court costs.
He did one.
Yeah.
Included, right? He did one. They pulled out the the whiteboard that looked like a street.
Oh.
He's like, okay, well, I was here.
Oh, jeez.
I was like, oh, jeez.
From the Martin episode where they was did traffic court.
Literally.
Yeah.
Literally.
The day of the Geechee is over.
he busted in. He was like, I was on vacation out in the woods, but I heard we had a court date and I decided to show up.
Yeah, jeez.
So I'm last man in the room right now, and I'm like, I'm about to get knocked. And I got video. All I got is video of the street, like, because his only argument was the thing was the signage was prominent. I'm like, well, single video that it wasn't. So I'm ready. I'm like, bump it. I'm gonna give my best, Martin Lawrence and plead my case.
Right.
And docket number such and such and so, City versus John Watson. He looks at me, he looks around, he goes, nah, I don't even remember.
Oh, he said,
was like, okay, court case dismissed.
Oh, he said he didn't remember.
Lamont, he looked at me in 2 seconds and said, yeah, I don't remember.
Oh, wow. You think he did though, and just didn't want to smoke, and he feel like
I think he remembered and know he might have thought he was being petty.
Yeah. Oh,
you know what I'm saying? Because the way his memory was, Lamont, going,
getting everybody.
And he had the whole Skittles of it wasn't all black folk brown. He had a whole Skittles of people in there. Everybody, he had to the T what they did wrong, what he did right, and why they should pay this whole ticket.
Well,
and I was the last cat, and he's like, yeah, I can't remember.
Lucky for you, he probably had reached his quota for his runnings for Officer of the Month,
right?
and you made it. You know what I'm saying? Great story. I love these positive outcome stories. I love these. These are great.
Yeah, but other than that, man, luckily, you know what I'm saying, I haven't had too many instances of being pulled over with any instance as of late. You know what I mean? Last time I did, I got a warning, so there's that.
Good.
So, the ACLU app on my phone nonetheless.
Yeah, I might have to check that out too. I might have to do that too. A good call on that.
Yeah.
All right, Jack.
Yes, sir.
All right. Let's go to last call for down the hall in Studio G for immediate fact checking. Mr. Clarkson.
Hey, what's going on, bro?
What up?
Man, I'm mad John missed the production meeting.
Oh, yeah, the production meeting. Yeah, it was very productive.
Oh, man. Am I still on the line? Y'all still talking about the meeting?
Oh, I thought I dropped you.
Yeah, why not? I was just listening to the show. Yeah. I was just listening to the show to see what happened, but I was waiting for my name to get
go ahead. My bad. Hold on.
That's funny, man.
Let me drop that off. Let me see if that works.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go. All right.
So
John, John was with the pigs. No, go ahead.
So this is a tissue issue, right? And I just recently taught this about 2 weeks ago because I'm teaching DC history.
Okay.
And everything that we just heard was never about any real criminal offense that these guys had committed. It was all about minor municipal violations. And that's, to me, my problem. I don't think policing in this country is going to ever get better until it really stops being about debt collection and more about serving the people. So, like, hear me out. If you're a major city, a major stream of your income is debt collection. And that's really what the police do. They collect debt, whether it be for expired registration, speeding, parking tickets, seatbelts. There are even some cities that write tickets to young black men for sagging their pants.
Yes.
And you can even get a ticket in some cities if you have chip paint on your car. So if you have chip paint on your car, more than likely, if you have unpaid parking tickets or any type of unpaid debt to the city, it's an issue too of poverty. So it's poverty shaming inside of this debt collection. So there's really no way for you to kind of get out of it. So there's no way that you are supposed to trust the police when you view them as debt collectors. Like, we don't really hear stories of these same people with that same type of energy go out their way to go get drugs out of communities, go get guns out of communities. No, the biggest story is when there's amnesty day, when they say, you know what? We know you owe the city a debt, and we'll take 50 to 40% off your debt to go collect it. It's not the same energy. So that's why the police can't be believed in black communities. Like, just think about this. All of these traffic stops, they weren't stopped because these people had drugs or guns or anything else.
Right.
These were routine minor municipal violations. So,
but what we know,
no reason why your heart should be.
We know through what we know that's the door in. That's the foot in the door. That's the way that's part of their training, is to these little, minor infractions to get probable cause and to pull you over and all that, broken tail light. I mean, that's historic. That's 100 years.
Right.
That's the move. That's their move.
Right.
So you're not getting rid of that.
So, like, the number of unarmed black fatalities between 2015 to 2019, right? 20% of them were nonviolent felons, and another 24% of them were just basic traffic stops. 8% was non-illegal activities, and 7% was misdemeanors. And the 34% that were violent felons were all unarmed. Everybody's unarmed. So it's all about, to me, this game of collecting a debt. And the other thing too is that black folks are pulled over at a twice as higher rate at night than compared to any other race. So it's already fishing for something that I think is really dangerous. So it's bigger than the fact of the conversation has to change. It's the fact that cities need to be honest that they use the police to collect debt, and they're doing it off of poor people, and that is unfair. Minor municipal violations do not harm my freedom. The drug dealers harm my freedom. The biggest gang in America, being the police, harm my freedom. So when we're able to identify the enemy correctly, then our life will be better. That's all.
Oh, man. And drop the mic on that one. Mr. Clarkson, ladies and gentlemen. All facts. Fact checking. All facts. I appreciate that. And maybe we'll have you there on the next conversation with police so we can really, flush that out and see if I can get an answer on that one. Probably nay. Yeah, I was one of the questions I remember I said, what is your focus on, law enforcement or crime fighting? And they were like, Jim, you wanna go first? You know how you be on a Zoom and you ain't ready to talk yet? Scott, you wanna take this? It was a lot of that. But yeah, Mr. Clarkson, a whole word and a read. Hey man, we reached the end of the show though, man. Hey, but I appreciate this. Has been very spirited. Appreciate our guests, interesting people coming through. Kathleen from Conversation with Police, all the callers, the usuals, newcomers. This is what you get. This is what the show is like. It could be, hey, one day is super fun. The other day we get that real. Wednesday, I'm going to try to do a little more research about the Bill Gates the news regarding his divorce after 27 years. Something ain't right. There's something very suspect about that announcement. I don't know, but let's get into it Wednesday. Unpack it, dig it up, along with some other stuff. Money Wheel, live and direct. It's butt naked, no names on it. The kit is like $50. Send us some, if you want to reserve your slots. We give away money here every Friday, real cash in your pocket. Let me put the Cash App up here real quick, just briefly. Where that though? Oh, this is how you do it. $5 a slot. Put in the notes how many slots you want. You get on the wheel. Friday, 50-50 raffle. The money is yours. You can decide what to do with it. Follow me on all social media. Do that. Make sure you hit our sponsors. On the way out, hit the thumbs, all that. Share, turn the notifications on. Everything that I've already said all the time. But I appreciate you. The show is nothing without you. Tell somebody about it. Something like a podcast. And yeah, that's pretty. Bill Gates was opening some windows. Hilarious. Is that what he was doing? Oh yeah, there's one more thing. Remember
I don't care if it is a closet. You still looking mad official.